People are drowning in debt. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Guys, after 2019, when people had all this sizable savings from basically staying in their house for an entire year, not really going out and spending and living their life type of thing, people decided when they came out of it, at least, that asset prices have raised to the rate that they are, right? And now what's left? They cannot afford it. What happens? They start doom spending. Doom spending basically means that they realize they can't afford anything, so they start wasting their money on frivolous things. And when that money dries up, they got so comfortable wasting money, they decided to start charging things on credit cards with 30% interest rates. You can't get out of that debt, bro. You can't. Absolutely. But who put themselves there? Let's jump into it. Let's say suggestion via Discord, guys.
The majority of it is credit card debt and then also a small personal loan, and total that we're trying to pay off is about $45,000.
Okay.
Please forgive the tear-stained face. My life has been an absolute hellscape this morning.
So I am $30,000 in debt.
I'm in $71,000 worth of debt right now.
I am in $120,000 worth of debt.
Okay.
Today, we're diving into the world of debt. People are drowning in credit card bills, student loans, and more. Let's see what people on TikTok have to say about their financial struggles.
Let's do it.
And yeah, one more thing. Subscribe or economy will collapse.
Can we just talk about how soul-sucking credit card debt is for a second? I have been feeling so motivated this whole month, and then I got my Amex bill, and then I had to pay a vet bill, and then I did my taxes last night, and then I had to pay for all my LLC fees since I'm now a TikToker and I'm trying to pay taxes on it. I just feel like it's always something. I have cut out all unnecessary spending and it's still not enough. I have extra income coming in from TikTok, so thankfully everything will be paid for. But I feel like I am skating on such thin ice financially all the time. I am like an eternally optimistic person, so I will always try to see the positive in a situation. But I just want to vent for a second about how tiring it is constantly walking on a knife's edge with my debt.
So I am
Keyword, my debt. Here's the thing. The problem that I'm seeing here is that hopefully she's gotten some type of like financial like counseling. Like whenever you get into like social media type of content and you start earning money from it, I definitely would highly suggest you sitting down with someone explaining exactly how much you make, so they put you into the adequate tax bracket. Let's say where tax like how you're going to be taxed, it needs to be a very strategic, let's say. So if you're running an LLC and specifically making less than 10, then I'm pretty sure that's fine, right? But if you start making more than 10 on a regular basis, I would definitely probably move up to like an S corp. So at least you can be taxed as an S corp and write off your expenses. So you can kind of mitigate that tax debt just a little bit at the very least, guys. But let's continue.
Tiring it is constantly walking on a knife's edge with my debt.
So I am $30,000 in debt.
Not no more. All my bills are paid. All my debt
Congratulations.
is gone. I don't gotta pay rent till like February 2025. The debt was weighing heavy on me. So back in April, about mid-April, like April 19th, I started working crazy. And since then, I only missed about 2 days of work. It is now November 6th. Also, I went on a weight loss journey last year. I got down to 157. My goal was 150, but back in April, I got up to 193. I gained all the weight I lost back. So lowest I got down to 141, which was way past my goal. Right now I'm probably about 146 when I wake up, and I'm probably, when I get something to eat, I'm probably like 150, walk around about 150. So that's a blessing. For the next 2 weeks I'm off. I'm a little under the weather, so I'm sipping this tea right here. But yeah, man, everything's good. I need to go see my barber. I ain't seen him in 2 years. I gotta figure out what I'm doing with this, and I got my surgery on Friday.
That was a lot. That was a lot of information, bro. You haven't seen your barber into, I don't understand, bro. You have dreads in your hair. You cutting them off? I don't know.
I ain't seen
Let's
him
go.
in 2 years. I gotta figure out what I'm doing.
Congratulations,
with this,
bro.
and I got my surgery on Friday.
I am in $120,000 worth of debt.
All right, how did we get
You
there?
heard that correctly.
Okay.
But first, if you're new here, let me explain. My name is Kaylin. I've dedicated my page to talk about my debt-free journey. And
Oh, so you're making content off of debt, bro? That's wild. Well, guys, I don't really frequent TikTok like that at all, so I don't know. But is that a thing over there? Dude, we're just talking about debt and misery.
we're going to get vulnerable. But let me
Let's do
clarify that statement. Used to be in $120,000 worth of debt. I
Okay.
am no longer in that much debt. So
Congrats.
what happened?
Congrats.
How did we get there? And what do I currently owe combined? I was a part of a lawsuit, Sweet vs. Cardona. You can see the pinned post on my page where a bunch of students got defrauded from a handful of schools. So of that result, $75,000, $75,000 of student loans was discharged from my credit.
All right, that's amazing.
As you can imagine right now, that significantly helped me with my debt-free journey.
Right.
I only owe $5,000 in student loans, and I plan to pay that off next year. That's not my focus.
Okay.
My focus at this moment is my biggest debt, which is my credit cards. And I don't plan
You have the rest of that is credit cards?
to file bankruptcy. That's not an option.
Don't file
I feel like
bankruptcy.
paying them will help me become financially responsible and literate.
And a lot more honorable.
And I love my relationships with the credit cards that I have. I have 2 Amexes, 3 with
Okay.
my credit union, and 1 with Apple.
Okay.
Honestly, they're not like little mom and pop starter credit cards. I would have been consolidated them, but that is why I'm not going into bankruptcy or filing bankruptcy, and I don't want that on my credit for 10 years. Despite what the internet says, please do your research. It is not worth it, in my opinion.
No, it's not.
Especially if you can pay it off. So if I had to be honest, like right now, I owe approximately $37,000 in debt. And now I only owe $5,000 in student loans, and it's because I went to a school after the fact and I decided to drop out. Of a result of my discharge, obviously my degree is worthless, which is okay. I'd rather take the discharge. Right now, I used to owe $30,000 in credit cards. I'm down to $26,000, and I plan to pay that off in the next year, hopefully sooner. $7,000 on my car. I don't plan to get a new car once I pay this off, baby. We are right into the wheels fall off. Okay, I don't plan to get a new car. I think it's just a terrible investment.
It is absolutely a depreciating asset. Bro, and specifically if you can't afford to pay it off immediately, then you shouldn't have it. Like, I understand the concept of financing something, but like, again, if you do not have the money in the bank to specifically at any time pay the vehicle off, like if something happened and you want to go ahead and pay it off, if you don't have that money, you can't afford it, bro. Like, stop living off of the concept of, let's say, credit. Let's say, I understand that some of it is necessary, but $30,000 is absolutely not. You're digging yourself into a hole that you're not going to be able to escape, specifically if you're not making that much money on a yearly basis to be able to cover that. So be very cautious with credit cards, guys.
I didn't really grow up in a home that had a lot of financial literacy. So as I'm learning as an adult, it comes with its pros and its cons. But yeah, I'm curious to know how much debt you are in. Let's make this a safe space. No judgment in the comments. Please do share how much debt you are in total.
Well, I don't think I'm at zero, because on a daily basis I use my credit card. So I use a credit card because I refuse to use my money to buy anything. And that's just kind of how I move. I've always moved like that, right? So when there is something to purchase, I will in fact use my credit card, wait about 2 or 3 days for it to actually hit, and then pay it off in full.
You plan to pay it off? What are your goals at this moment?
But I absolutely live beneath my means. I do not live anywhere near what I make, bro. For what? For what reason would you want to do that to yourself? Never do that. Ever. Never, ever, ever do that. Okay. If something literally can happen tomorrow, right? Tomorrow. This is why I'm saying, if you can't afford, if something is on your credit, if you're accruing some type of debt with interest, let's say, you have to be able to make sure that you can pay it off in full at any time. And if you cannot do that, you absolutely cannot afford what you're buying. Okay, that's really important. So you're never in a situation like this. Okay.
Bye.
I think it's finally time that I tell you guys exactly how much debt I'm in. This
Okay,
is probably my most asked question, and I have been avoiding it for about 2 months now, I think for pretty obvious reasons. But I
mean, why? You're making content out of it.
Asked it so much, and I finally was just like, why the hell am I hiding it? Like, what does it matter? Oh well. So here we are. So this number does not include our actual mortgage or my car. My husband's car we recently paid off, and my car, by the time we have all of our credit cards and everything paid down, my car will then be paid off. So this does not include those two things, but the majority of it is credit card debt and then also a small personal loan, and total that we're trying to pay off is about $45,000. Now you're probably like, how the hell are you in $45,000 worth of debt? And I wish I could tell you exactly, but we had a lot of medical stuff that we had to put on the credit cards. And then we also had a ton of my kids' therapies. So my daughter was in feeding therapy 4 times a week for just over 9 months. And then my son was also in speech therapy. And insurance does cover the first 20 visits of his speech therapy for the year, but he eats through that pretty quick. So then after that, we were covering it with a credit card. And we have now completely stopped using credit cards. We're in the process of paying it down, but it is a very slow process.
Interesting enough, I did not think of that. So I guess if you have to do it for something that's like life or death type of scenario, I can imagine how that could be something that you're going to have to do. In terms of the therapies specific, I've never heard of feeding therapy in my life, bro. But either way, if you have to do something like that, and you have kids and things like that, I can see how that could be a thing, right? But guys, you cannot wreck your family. You cannot.
We've already paid down about $6,000 of it since I started this 2.5 months ago, 2 months ago, something like that. But I'm using the money that I earn from TikTok and from sharing this journey to put as extra money towards the debt. So
I figured it.
So it's going faster than it would be otherwise. But
that makes sense.
That is how much. I'm curious to know if it's lower or higher than you expected, because there's been a lot of people who have told me in their comment how much debt they have, and some is way higher than that, and then some they think they're in a ton of debt and they only have $1,000 worth of debt. So I'm curious to see what you guys think, but now it's all laid out there.
Yeah, I have kind of a floating debt, let's say, of maybe $100, $150, something like that. But again, it's immediately paid off. If I use my card, it's immediately paid off within 2 to 3 days. So it goes back down to zero. I keep a zero debt on average, though. Because that's how I think if you're going to utilize a credit card adequately, you need to make sure that you're never allowing them to earn any interest on you. That's how you don't lose, guys, right? You get the most points as humanly possible.
I'm in $71,000 worth of debt right now.
Okay.
So let's see how we got there. So let's start with credit cards. I have 4 credit cards, but only 3 of them are in use. To begin, I have Discover number 1, which is $8,159, which is actually a Discover loan, personal loan that I took out to pay off my actual credit cards, because the interest rate for the personal loan was cheaper than the interest rates on each card.
Okay,
so
smart.
Saving me money in the long run.
Consolidated.
Paying it off. But for about a year, I wasn't working and was kind of depressed, so it got racked up a little bit. So $8,159 is a personal loan that I pay off every month, and the interest rate for that is 11.9%.
Whoa!
And is a lot cheaper than.
What's your credit score? 11%. And that's the personal loan? Because generally people consolidate because they want to get away from, let's say, the gigantic 29%. Thank you, Jerome Powell. But these gigantic 29% interest rates that happen even if you have really good credit, right? But the problem is when it comes to these type of loans, they should be 4%, right? Or whatever the current interest rate, 7%, guys, right? 11 seems crazy, bro.
Credit card.
I'm guessing a credit score somewhere in the 7, 6, maybe? Somewhere there.
Interest rates, which are usually
5?
20-something%. Next, I have my Amex card. These next 3 cards are my everyday cards. And right now, they do have balances, but it's my everyday kind of spending.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of how I run
these off
things,
at the end of the month normal. But this one has $305 on.
Not at the end of the month. Find the statement date and pay it before the statement date. Do not allow them to make interest. The end of the month is irrelevant because you've already gone through the billings. Oh my God. Oh, guys, no.
On it, my MasterCard has $370. And then my actual Discover card has $13 on it. So those will get paid off at the end of the month like normal. So I don't really consider that debt, even though it technically is. Next is the big kahuna. It's the student loans. I regret going to college, but I regret how expensive it was.
Hopefully you're using your...
Okay. So this is broken up into 2 sections. So I have my personal student loans, like government student loans, and then I have the Parent Plus loan that is in my dad's name, but I pay it because it was for my schooling. I'm not gonna make him pay that. Mine in my name is $45,924 with interest rates between 2.75 and 4.6. So my student loans are broken up by like different loans for each semester. So there's like a gajillion different small loans and they all have different interest rates. But right now I'm on the income driven plan and I make so little money that I have a $0 a month payment on it. So I don't have to pay it every month, but it's still gaining interest, so it still sucks. And then the Parent Plus loan that's in my dad's name that I do have to pay every month because he does not qualify for an income driven repayment plan. The total is $16,305 with an interest rate of 7.21.
Whoa.
So that one I pay $211.37 a month to pay that one off. So
Yeah, if you can, you should probably double that. Like, don't get the Starbucks, right? Like, get that off your parents' name specifically, because that absolutely is crazy. Like, that 7%, I mean, it's low-ish, right? But how much of that is going towards the principal? If you're paying like 200 something, give me, I want to see the breakdown specifically of how much is going towards clearing out the principal and versus how much is being wasted on interest, right? And whatever that is, you should probably pay a little bit more than whatever the minimum payment is, specifically, so you can kind of mitigate the just complete waste in interest.
it's gonna take a while, but that's all my debt. That's how I got there.
Okay.
If you're trying to do this pay off your debt trend, there's a few.
All right, guys, we can go ahead and end this right here. We get the gist. There's a lot happening here. I'm seeing a lot of bad, like really bad financial decisions here, pretty much consistently. I do hope that this young lady, the last one here, that she absolutely is using, at least using the degree. The amount of money that she spent on the degree, I hope that she's utilizing it or finding some use in it, right? Hopefully it's not just some random office type of scenario. Hopefully it's something absolutely usable, let's say, outside of that, just in case you don't get that specific job. Hopefully you still have it, you have something that you can use for it. But here's the thing: when it comes to credit and like financial literacy, it's absolutely important. If you don't know, you should try to learn as much as humanly possible, so you don't put your kids in a situation like, so for example, like I don't want my daughter to have, or my sons to have any type of like issues with credit, right? So immediately, once you're able to, specifically if you have a credit card, right, and the credit card doesn't have like a cost per card type of scenario, like if you have the ability to just add someone to it, add your kids to that card, bro. Specifically if you have like really good, or you're working on your credit, you're not going to actually miss payments and things like that, like put your kids on that card, bro, right? Give them an immediate boost and some credit history. Put it immediately. Like you don't even have to give them the card. Like get it and cut it up type of thing, bro. All right. This allow them to latch on to your credit, specifically if you have like decent credit. Give them some boosts and teach them how to do these things. You should not be looking to pay your credit card on the last day of the month. I'm sorry, guys, because they've already billed you and charged you interest. That's not beneficial. All right. Find out exactly when things are going to be reported. Like look for the statement dates and things like that. Make sure you understand when they're actually ending. That should be the day before is when you pay, if that's the case, if you want to do that, right? But as soon as it hits your credit and they charge you that interest, they don't care, bro. Your goal should be not to allow them to charge you interest. You want to use it and pay it off before it hits the statement. Okay. You should never have like a visible like past due type of thing, guys, where they're accruing interest. Bro, I hate interest. I think interest is stupid, but I get it. I mean, they're loaning you the money technically. Again, get into to that specific thing. Like, so when I was younger, what I would do is I would take my paycheck, basically put it away into an account, a savings account exclusively. And then whatever I would spend on a card, I would wait right before the statement date and pay everything off, because I would use everything on the card exclusively. And that's so we can just basically build credit passively for the most part, because I was going to buy the stuff anyway. You get what I mean? Like we need to learn. I think financial literacy should be taught in schools, because not a lot of people for some reason know that, like how to handle things and how to utilize your credit, how to do like these what are they called here, guys? Like a short loan. I have no idea. I forgot the name of these things. Every bank calls them something different. But basically, you go there, and you say, "Hey, listen, I wanted to get a loan for $250," and then you use the collateral is $250 in your account, type of thing. And then as soon as you get the loan for 250, you pay back 200, and then you realize that your next payment is in like, I don't know, a year or something like that, and then you just have to pay that back later. But the beauty of that scenario, so you're basically borrowing $50 for, but you're saying you want 200, 250 or so. Um, and those type of things help your installment credit crazily. So if you're wondering why you're getting declined on loans all the time, how about you do one of those things? It's like an immediate boost in your credit, like immediate. And it doesn't matter how much it really is, right? It's going to be reported the same way. You're going to get basically the same points for it, guys. So if you say, "Oh, give me $10,000," I've tried all of the levels of it, and there's not much of a difference between any of the any of the ways to do it, like any of the amounts. So I would just say, bro, tell them, "Oh, you want to borrow 250 and you want to use your 250 as a collateral," that type of thing. All right. And then as soon as they inject 250 into your account, type of thing, you pay back 200. Right. And now you're basically borrowing 50 at the end of the day, type of thing. Right. And the beauty of that is that by doing that, you have prepaid your debt for 10 months by doing immediately. Guys, it's a beautiful thing. A beautiful, beautiful thing. And then now you're guaranteed that the installments are going to show up on your credit report as paid for the perfectly for the next 10 months, no matter what you do, bro. It's a beautiful system here that we have. But you have to learn how to game it, right? Credit is a game, right? It took me forever to get past like 800. It took me forever until I learned the game, and then it was just like, okay, I get the game. So people are literally walking around with bad credit on purpose. On purpose? On purpose. Guys, either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.